Welcome to We Are Soccer, the greatest soccer show this side of the internet. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Do us a huge favor. Give us a like, a subscribe, and a share. Do whatever you can. We appreciate it. Lots on tap for today. The amount of soccer that's been played over the past week is absolutely phenomenal. It's crazy. October has been nutty. And if you are a soccer fan, has it not just been glorious? Absolutely glorious. This weekend alone, we had Liverpool, Man City, great game, low scoring. Didn't see that coming. I had the over. Don't follow me on bets. Yeah, it sucked. That wasn't fun. Aston Villa, Chelsea. We'll skip right over that one. Chelsea with a 2-0 win. A lot of other stuff. Top of the table, still Arsenal. I know. Everybody's waiting. Everybody's waiting for them to do exactly what they normally do. Tumble down the table. They're going to stumble. They're going to lose. They're going to get embarrassed. They're going to stumble. Is it going to be different this year? It's got to be different this year, right? It's going to be different. It's going to be different because this is a different team. This is a different Arsenal team. They've got something this year. Are they going to win the Premiership? No. They ain't going to win the Premiership. But I guarantee they'll finish top four, and I think they could even finish second. Man City, I think, will go on to win it, but today they dropped points at Liverpool. Liverpool took their chances. Great game. Let me know if you watched that game, guys. Let me know what you thought, and if you put any bets on it, let me know what you did. Again, I had over 2.5 goals. I had Man City winning, and I had a Haaland goal, and none of that happened. 1-0 Liverpool. We do have to talk about, for a quick second here, some of the vulgar chants that were coming from the Man City fans. That's not good. No one likes to see that. No one likes to hear that. Come on, Man City fans, you're better than that. Not good. We won't really go into what was being said, but it happened to do with the Hillsborough incident many years ago. The Man City fans were all singing about. So disgusting there, but a very good win for Liverpool. Are Liverpool on the way back? Are they going back up the table? Because they've had a hell of a year so far where they've stumbled this season. It just hasn't been good. It's not been the Liverpool we've been accustomed to, but they get the job done today. El Clasico was this weekend. I know Brooks has a lot to say about El Clasico and the lead-up and the coverage. I love El Clasico. It's one of my favorite matches. I love watching when Barcelona and Real Madrid meet up. Those fans clash. Those teams do not like each other. It is always a good matchup. Love El Clasico. We'll maybe go talk about Sergio Ramos having sex every day. This report's come out from his wife, who's claimed this, and it's pretty interesting. We'll talk a little bit about that. And the MLS Playoffs have started. Wow. Some great games so far this weekend. They kicked off quick. They're coming fast and heavy here. The Austin RSL game went to penalty shootout. That was fun to see. Very cool there. And, the Hand of God ball was sold, or is selling, for $2.5 million. That was stolen. We'll tell you the quick story behind that ball. And, 3 months on, Mbappe wants out of PSG. He just signed a new contract, a new 3-year contract at PSG, and now he's crying because he didn't get what he wanted. He wanted a new striker, he wanted a new defender, he wanted Neymar gone, and none of that happened, and now he's crying. And in the January window, he wants out. Wah, wah, wah. All right, lots to get to. Why don't we talk to the boys at the kids' table? Brooks, Nate, boys, how we doing?
I'm good. Good MLS matches these last couple of days, and out watching youth soccer again on Saturday, and enjoying the weekend. So it's been good. How about you, Nate?
Well, I'm hungry and I'm tired. That's Nate in a nutshell. The weekend has beat me down.
Oh boy,
I'm a beaten man. There's some good things that happen, but for the most part, I can't wait for Monday so I can take a break from the weekend. You don't hear that much.
Isn't that always the way?
Can't wait. I need to go back to work so I don't have to deal with the weekend anymore. And it's my fault because I'm a dumbass. But one day, when I'm older, I'm going to look back at these and enjoy those fine memories of running to every single little thing that there is because they won't be around anymore. Hello, darkness, my only friend.
Well, you guys had about as good a weekend as I did. I was all over the place as well. All over the state of Michigan. I was in Muskegon. Then I was down in Livonia. Now we're up in Novi. Lots going on. A little bit of sleep deprivation, but it is what it is. It's time to talk soccer. Why don't we start with what I think was the game of the weekend? Everybody was looking forward to it. No, it wasn't El Clasico. It was Liverpool and Man City.
So you're wrong in that wasn't the game of the weekend.
Oh, I know what you're going to say is the game of the weekend.
Yes, you're right.
Does it start with an S and end with a Tuttgarts?
No.
Oh!
No.
Starts with Berlin and ends with the
Union and end with a Berlin?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
But go ahead with whatever your little. Who are these teams? Never heard of them.
The Farmers League.
Never. Yes. Go ahead with the new
small cups you play in England.
Go ahead with
the non-irrelevant FA Cups and league games
with your
they play.
American-owned playoff team All-Star League.
You guys see what I have to put up with here.
Do you know
I have to put up
how many
with
Americans own a team in the Bundesliga?
Not a one.
Not a one.
Not a one.
Not a one. Not a one.
It's pure European.
Yeah. Welcome to MLS 2.0. Can't wait for your All-Star game. Can't wait for your playoffs. Woo, baby. Can't wait for it.
We know there's going to be eventually competition where it's going to be Liga MX, MLS, and then they mix EPL teams in there.
I'll tell you what the first thing they'll get rid of, and then we'll get to actual stuff. First thing they'll get rid of is promotion relegation. Watch as that starts to come out. Hey, is this promotion relegation really a good idea?
As we talked about last week a little bit, right? The American owners can vote that out. That's the way it works in the Premiership. If the majority of the owners come together and vote, I believe it's 2/3, can vote. I don't see that happening. I really don't.
I don't see it happening either, but you know they're going to start campaigning for that.
Oh, yeah, they already won the fucking All-Star game, right?
That's number 2 on the list.
All right, well, that's to come. All right, that Liverpool Man City game today, I do want to point out, I think Man City were forcing the ball into Haaland every single chance they got. It felt to me like they were just trying to get him a goal, and for some reason, every opportunity they had to get down the field, they were looking for him. I get it. Best striker in the world, best informed striker in the world. But, man, the second run was on almost every single time. Gomez and Virgil van Dijk clearly were hovering around Haaland most of the game, and every time the ball went close to the box, those two gravitated right to Haaland. The second run was on. Foden was on several times. Kevin De Bruyne, you ever heard of him? Maybe pass him the ball, because Haaland would make the first run. Both defenders went with him, leaving space for Kevin De Bruyne, and I thought the ball should have gone out there several times. Gundogan was forcing it in. Even De Bruyne was forcing the ball in there. Again, I get it. I absolutely get it. Most informed striker in the world, best striker in the world. Right now, let's get him the ball. Let's get him. See what he can do. But he should have been used as a decoy. He should have been used as a decoy, in my opinion. There was a VAR, we'll call it controversy, where the Foden did put the ball in the back of the net, but about 10 seconds before, Haaland had dragged Matip down. It was Fabinho down.
What do you mean? There's no controversy with VAR.
That was
VAR does not create controversy. Only in England it creates controversy.
Only in England.
Yeah.
But that was absolutely a foul. As soon as I saw it, I said, that's foul. That could get called back if they score. They went ahead and scored. They looked at it again. Yeah, it was called back, rightly so. A very good game, though. Both goalkeepers in the first half, not much to do. Second half, both had to be on their toes. Great save by Ederson as Salah went in on him. Fingertip save. Great save to keep it at 0-0. Then he couldn't do anything about it later in the half as Salah went through. João Cancelo mistake there to let him through. Excellent game. Excellent game. I got my money's worth. Unfortunately, I did lose money on the game. I lost about $8. That's all I bet. But, there wasn't the over. I bet over 2.5 goals. I bet both teams would score. I bet Man City would win. And then I bet that Haaland would score. Nothing happened. Nothing of that happened. So I lost all those. 1-0 to Liverpool. Excellent game. Couldn't be happier with that. The other game that happens today, where at at Ellen Road, the power went out. All of a sudden, the power went out 20 minutes into the match, and there was no connection from the referee and the VAR. So that game then ended up about 30 to 35 minutes behind all the other games that were happening today in the Premiership. Ended 1-0 Arsenal. Arsenal just doing what Arsenal do. Leeds did have a chance, though, with Bamford in the second half missing a penalty. I would tell you that his nickname for a lot of us is Bumford for a reason. Yeah, Patrick Bumford. And we saw him dive. Did anybody else see that dive today? Hand the man a diving towel. That was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Jesse Marsch needs a striker in the January window. Jesse Marsch needs to go out and get a striker because, I'm sorry, Bamford isn't it. It is not it. They sold Daniel James, and I don't know why. I thought he would be a good player to keep. They sold him, not sure. Don't know. They need a striker, though, Leeds do. But because Arsenal win, they remain atop of the table. They haven't stumbled. I know all you Man United fans, everybody keeps talking to me about this. Oh, it's going to happen. They're going to stumble. They haven't stumbled. They are doing very well. This is a young team. They still have Emile Smith-Rowe out injured. I believe he's got a shoulder injury. We'll talk about that list of players later who are missing the World Cup. Another one who went down, N'Golo Kante. That man misses the World Cup. And his actual central midfielder partner, Paul Pogba, could be missing the World Cup as well. I have a list of, I think it's 12 to 15 big-name players going to be missing out on this World Cup due to injury.
You know who's not going to be missing out? And Cuckoo.
That's all you got, huh? That's all, yeah, I know.
I'm just backing his point up.
Yeah?
That he called all this 3 months before.
It's that transfer's got a little quiet now. I don't know if it's official.
No, it's
there's probably something in writing.
They're probably working on it. What I'm going to guess is it's going to be a January transfer that's going to happen, and it's going to be similar to the Pulisic deal, where he's going to probably finish out at Leipzig and then be good.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
just so everybody's aware of what happened there when Pulisic moved from Chelsea. From Dortmund to Chelsea, the deal was signed in January. Everything was negotiated, but Pulisic stayed at Dortmund for the rest of the rest of the season, and then in the summer moved. So I agree, Nate. That's probably what will happen, and I think it's in the region of 60 million for Nkunku.
With how hard Leipzig is struggling right now, I can't imagine that they'd want to sell him unless there's a large sum of money on the table. But considering he does have an agreed upon release clause, I believe. I don't think it's going to be that large sum of money that's dropped on the table. I think it's going to be more or less, we'll agree to this, but let's do it at the appropriate time, and then that's when it will go down. Yeah. I just struggle to see. I mean, they have players that can replace him for sure, or kind of drop in, and Timo Werner is one of those guys, a very similar player. Yep. So, but with them, where they're at, with them, kind of churning along and needing to make a Champions League. And I think last time I looked, they're outside of the top four right now. They're close, but outside. I don't see it going down. I see the deal in place, but I don't see him leaving until the end of the year.
Yeah, so I saw a graphic the other day on social media that had, predicted Chelsea's, next year starters or whatever. And, there's no room for Pulisic anymore. I know we talked about this before, and we're kind of beating a dead horse, but I'm just curious where he's going to end up because Chelsea's not his club anymore. I'm sorry, it's just not, and people can be upset about that, or maybe they're not. I don't know, but it's just not his club anymore. It's time to go, and I hope he realizes that it's time to take it's time to just see the fork in the road, take the other path, and we go restart our career somewhere at Serie A, another EPL team, or La Liga, or wherever, or back to the Bundesliga. I don't know, but I think it's time for him to move.
Right. It's time for Pulisic to leave. It's absolutely time. Today, he didn't get off the bench. He did not get off the bench. Mount starts ahead of him, scores both goals. He doesn't get off the bench. Conor Gallagher's getting off the bench ahead of him. He's playing. There's no room for him there. For his own sake, not anything to do with him being an American or playing for the U.S. men's national team. for his own good, he needs to get away from that club.
So I don't think he needs to go somewhere where he starts, and we've talked about this in the past, where maybe he's not a starter for a top team, right? And that could be a possibility. But he needs to go somewhere where he is at least involved. And in the past, he was at least involved in other games with Chelsea, where he would come in, maybe it'd be 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, maybe it'd be the first half, the second half. He was at least involved and there. But now he's not. And so he needs to go somewhere where he's at least, doesn't have to be a starter, but at least a part of the team where he's involved. At least a guy who gets in minutes somewhere, somehow.
Oh, like Dortmund? I mean, I thought he left Dortmund way too quickly, to be
I
honest
thought
with
he
you.
left Dortmund way too quickly as well. In fact, I said I don't even think he was the best player that was taken that year. God habits. and I pointed that out and said that guy's going to be better than Pulisic.
Yeah.
Because of but the fact that he was a carved out starter actually in that league.
Has Kai Havertz been better since he left?
Oh yeah.
At Chelsea.
Yeah.
You think he's been? I think
He was better in the Bundesliga.
Sure, absolutely. I think since they
And he
both
went there
left,
for less money.
I think Kai Havertz has taken a little bit of a dip in form as well, though.
How dare you.
Recently, I think he needs. Maybe under Graham Potter something will change, but under Tuchel I thought he was a little bit of a disappointment. So it will be interesting to see what happens there. But back to Pulisic, he needs to get away for his own good, as we're saying. He needs to get away just to play. And no, he doesn't need to go to a Champions League team. He doesn't need to go to a team where he starts every minute. He doesn't need to go to a Real Madrid or a PSG or a Barcelona. Leeds America.
Or it's Jesse Marsh's pressing system.
I don't care. I just want all the Americans to win the Premier League with an American coach and American owner. And then just to take a NFL football, spike it in the middle, and just say it's soccer now.
Or like Baker Mayfield, Ohio State, just stick the flag in the middle of the O.
Who was Jesse Marsh? Just looking at, there was reports of another rumored American going to Leeds just the other week. Just this past week, we all swapped texts about. It wasn't Pulisic. I forget who it was.
If you play soccer,
it wasn't Vasquez, was it?
If you play soccer in America, you're connected with Leeds.
Yeah,
that's like if you
kick a soccer ball once in the country, you're connected with Leeds.
Well, it's like if you watch Welcome to Wrexham now, because Ryan Reynolds and McElhenney. I mean, now you have a connection with Wales. So I mean, you know, I don't know. No, it wasn't. It was Yunus Musa that was gonna had links to Liverpool, not Leeds. So we had links to, and I think for me, he is the one that needs to be healthy that is going to make the men's national team go in this World Cup. It's not Pulisic. It's not Pulisic that has to be the top player. It's Yunus Musa. That is my prediction now.
I like that. I think that's a good prediction. Absolutely. Actually, and it's funny you mentioned Wrexham. We'll talk about them in a little bit with their FA Cup game that was on ESPN Plus yesterday morning. That was an interesting game. I definitely watched that. It's lower level English soccer. Not the most entertaining thing in the world, but something for us to talk about a little later.
What would you compare that to? I'm curious. What would you guys compare?
To be honest, it wasn't that far outside of the DCFC matches, where it's hustle, the lack of quality, because anything quality within the division gets moved up another division, right? So
it's athletes that aren't technical.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Or just big physical men that aren't technical.
Fourth Division German League, same stuff.
Same thing. Yeah.
Running down just some chats here. Brent at the top, he's talking about Pulisic, needs to go somewhere and start. Mike said Liverpool, Newcastle, do it. Do it. Do it.
That was my prediction. That was my prediction a couple of weeks ago. Newcastle. I think he ends up in Newcastle for the fact that the owners there know that jerseys will sell here in America, and they want to break into this market. I think that will happen.
I kind of want him out of the EPL. I don't want him in the EPL anymore. I want him in like the Bundesliga or.
I want him back in MLS. But hold on.
That'd be great.
So Michael said he was taking down top 4 teams with his goals a year or two ago. Said that he couldn't keep going. Him and Vardy are MIA this season. Brent said he agrees with you on Harvitz, and Brent, that's wrong. You can't agree with Craig.
Brent is a huge Chelsea fan, and I He knows his Chelsea and he knows his soccer.
Wrong,
He
and
is
you're wrong.
not wrong.
Yes,
Kai Havertz has taken a hell of a dip in form.
It's going to be
and
awesome
needs to
when
be
he's
sold
when he-
back
when
to
he
the
helps Germany
Bundesliga
win.
to ply his
How
trade.
dare you?
Or when
Yeah.
Nkunku scores all the goals for him,
Yeah.
then Nate will be laughing at
I
you.
did see a comment on Facebook there about Bamford. We'll call him Bumford from here on out. Mr. Bumford looks like his dog has been getting. He always looks that way. He always looks like he's that. But here's the thing about him. Apparently, he's got like some sort of master's degree in something, and he's fucking wicked smart.
It's kind of like me.
No, just because you have a master's degree doesn't mean you're smart. Yeah,
No, I saw that. I knew what you were trying to do there.
Yeah.
I agree. I am smart.
yeah, okay.
I agree with you, Craig.
But he is very smart, and he one day will end up in commentary as a pundit, and he will be very good because he can talk very well. He plays the piano and all that good stuff. But yeah, when he's on the field,
That means you're really smart when you play the
does
piano.
look like someone kicked his dog, but it's always the way he looks. I'm not a huge fan of Mr. Patrick Bumford, but
He
what it
fit
is.
the Bielsa system. I don't think he
He did.
fits the Jesse Marsh press.
Agreed.
You know,
I'm a big fan of his band, Bumford and Sons. Yeah.
Love it. Hey guys, continue to send questions, put comments in on the Facebook and on YouTube, and if you're on Twitter, go ahead as well. There, we read them. We appreciate it. We will call them out.
Just
all right.
one more thing, and I'm not saying that Brent is wrong on Kai Havertz. I'm just saying he's wrong to agree with you. That's to clarify that.
Duly noted. We'll
Duly
write
noted.
that. We'll write
Just
that down.
to-
Duly
yeah,
noted.
just to clarify that aspect. Not saying, yeah, he's probably actually right a little bit, just wrong. Agreeing with you.
Understood.
Yeah.
An interesting fact that came across this week before we get to some of the MLS roundup stuff and the playoffs that have been happening.
playoffs.
Playoffs.
Yes.
We're talking about playoffs.
Yes.
The average attendance for an MLS match this past year, 22,300.
Yeah, I think I shared that with you guys, didn't I?
I
Some
found
of those
that
stats.
myself, so maybe I ignore a lot of your textbooks.
I think you
just-
should.
It's in the group
He
chat.
shared it, now he's
It's
just
in our
trying to
group
take credit
chat.
for it.
Ah.
He's like, look what I found, and let me tell you about this new cuckoo guy.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh.
He takes all the credit from
You guys,
us.
see, you guys see what happens
Yeah.
here, right? All right. Everybody,
Says you're-
Yeah, we dropped knowledge on you, and you.
Because you're the host.
Dangerous.
He's the host of a show. He's like, I gotta steal all this, from
I can
us.
claim it as my own.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. Listen, I can just turn your guys' mics off real quick. Here. This will be really easy. Fuck, I don't want to do that. We actually just got them to work in the last 2 weeks. I
Hey,
wanna
you turn them off, they'll never work again.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
But in all honesty, 22,300 per match. That's
That's
a
good.
really good number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the Atlanta.
Going up.
It is. It's going up.
Yeah.
It is
And
going up.
growing.
The Atlanta team that play in what is it, the Mercedes Dome down there in
Mercedes-Benz,
Atlanta,
yeah.
that holds 60,000. They get 60,000 per game, so that inflates the numbers a little bit. But when these stadiums are being built, like in Nashville, and they hold 20 plus, in Austin where they hold 20 plus, and they sell out.
Well, it gets inflated too with Seattle because that's
This
the
is
football
true.
stadium too.
This is
but
true.
but it's
But-
good that they're selling like the lower bowl out. That's like 40 some
Hey
thousand.
man, I don't care
Yeah.
if it's 2 teams, 10 teams, 32 teams, whatever it is. The average attendance, that's better than most leagues around the world.
Mm-hmm.
I would hazard a guess that it might even be better than a lot of. It might even be better than what's the Mexican league?
Liga MX.
Liga MX. Yeah. I off the top of my head, I mean, I don't know, but that is a great number, and one of the reasons that Apple paid $250 million to get the rights to it. Now, next year, you're going to have Apple TV to watch MLS games. I've got Apple TV. I like Apple TV. I know a lot of people who don't like it, don't want it, but now if you want to watch MLS games, you're going to need it. So get on that bandwagon, friends.
He's
He's got a lot to say about this.
Here we go. Yep,
Can
go
I
for it.
reflect on why I hate it?
Yep, go for it.
Cool.
Because there's a lot like Netflix and everything else, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
and I'm not a big fan of that either. So let me ask you a question. Where can I watch Apple TV if I don't want an app streaming service or can't afford one?
Nowhere. That's
No,
the problem.
that's the
no,
problem.
you can't watch Netflix, you can't watch Disney Plus, you can't watch.
But
ESPN
ESPN,
Plus.
but ESPN runs games, and actually public broadcasts run all the MLS local games, and some of them actually, because ESPN's affiliation with Disney and was it ABC?
they also
Yeah.
run games as well, right, Brooks?
Yep.
I'm not just making that up in my head.
You're correct.
Okay, cool. So there are opportunities, maybe not to see every game, but many games on regular public TV. And that's my issue with these streaming services that are buying these things up. And it's just another platform that now if you want to watch the game in the States, you are forced to jump on.
Well, they want subscribers. Like we talked about Thursday Night Football with Amazon. I mean, in a
understand that.
3-hour span, they had the most people ever sign up for just to watch a Thursday night fucking football game.
I get why they did it. I'm not criticizing that.
Yeah.
I just don't like it.
I know, I get it, but unfortunately, this is just the way of how everything's going because TV's changing and everyone wants to do something on the streaming service because everyone's being cord cutter now.
Yep.
You know?
Rumor on the street, according to Mike S., is that Red Bull has been dragging those
Yes,
numbers.
it was atrocious. It was atrocious. It was
hold on.
not good for the playoff
So
game against Cincy.
for your Atlanta, you're balanced out by your
Well, yeah.
Red Bulls.
I mean that's average, right? That's right.
Yeah.
We got several teams that are up there, like as we said, Seattle, Atlanta. They got football stadiums. They got 60 plus in there. But then you got Red Bull, and Red Bull's in New York, right?
New Jersey, Harrison, New Jersey,
I mean,
on the other
close
side.
enough. So
yeah.
how are those people not attending? That's a mixing bowl.
They've always had like
How is it-
I think it's been like ever since like Henri retired or 18 or 2018 era. I think someone said that's when they've really had a big drop, and I don't know if it's a marketing thing or if it's with the connections they have in the community. They're really careful because NYCFC's trying hard to find a spot to build a stadium somewhere in the heart of like the Bronx or the area. That's not good if they can't find fans, especially in an area where it's not. I mean, it's crowded, but it's not the Bronx like where NYCFC are trying to build. You know.
So just to cap off the thought, and this is where I'm coming from, as someone who wants to have the game accessible for everyone, and I want it to be bigger than every sport there is, and you can turn on the NFL or many like baseball that beats it right now a little bit. NFL for sure, which is the number one sport, and even some basketballs. It's everywhere on public TV. And my fear is, or what I don't like, is telling a kid, yeah, you need to watch more of the game. Well, how do I do that? Well, first you got to go pay this app service now, X amount of dollars in order to see just domestic stuff, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, it's that's why I don't like it. It's someone who encourages kids.
You're absolutely not wrong. You're not wrong.
You're not wrong, but I mean,
You're not wrong.
Again, it's the people
I
like
cannot like it.
Thanks. Like the millennials and like my generation and the ones below that want to be the cord cutters.
Yeah.
But I'm a cord cutter, so this is coming from someone who doesn't have regular
have cable?
TV. I don't have cable. I haven't had it for years. I didn't have
Okay.
it when I lived in Germany. My point just is, if I tell a kid, hey, you need to watch more of the game, well, hey, coach, it's kind of hard to do because my parents won't invest in an app service. What do you do to that? And that's part of the problem. And I understand. I get it. I know why they're doing it. I know why. I'm not saying it's bad business.
And you could say the same thing though. They raised the rates for ESPN Plus as well because of how it's financially the economy's been, and like you do the year subscription, it's $100 now, and I have the full year. I think the monthly's like
because I got Disney Plus.
Oh yeah, do you have that bundle?
Boom.
Well, he has kids. Of course, he has.
Yeah.
Plus. I mean,
And my Hulu Live.
I like I always tell people, the best parent in my house is the TV because it's the only thing they listen to. Kids, it's the only thing they listen to. Brooks, I do want to kind of talk to you specifically about El Clasico.
Yes.
All right, so El Clasico, as I said in the lead up, I love El Clasico, man. Barcelona versus Real Madrid is one of the romantic, one of the battles that happen. It happens usually minimum 3 to 4 times a year. So they play once at Barcelona, they play once at Real Madrid, then they'll meet up in one of the various cups that they have there in La Liga. So it happens 3 or 4 times a year, which is great. I try to tune in every single time. Brooks, specifically, well, let's 3-1 today, Real Madrid. Yep. They were the clear-cut winners, 3-1.
I watched it.
Benzema did what Benzema does.
Yeah.
Real Madrid really showed how good they are.
Vinicius Jr. was really good. I mean, you had
Vinicius Jr. He's come on.
Valverde was a great goal. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they just took it to Barcelona, and Barcelona again. They've had their issues. Lewandowski. I mean, he puts that ball in the what was it in the 20
on the back post where he shoots it over.
Yeah. That was in the 24th minute. So Benzema scores in the 12th minute. Lewandowski missed on the 1 yard line. Somehow, from the 1 yard line, manages to get the ball up.
Was he offsides, though? Because that was the debate. If he had scored that, he might have been offsides.
He might have been offsides. You are absolutely 100%. But somehow, up and over, boom. Valverde in the 34th minute. Ooh, very nice strike there to score to make it 2-0. Barca get one back in the 83rd minute, and then a penalty.
I don't know if I agree with that, Rodri.
Bit of a soft penalty. He did go look at it.
He stepped on his foot, but he was going down, and he was past the ball. That was the thing.
But if you've ever had your foot stepped on with studs, it hurts.
Yes.
But in these days, hey, if you're going to make a mistake in a box, like stepping on someone's foot, you're going to get penalized. Yeah. So 3-1 there. Great game. Two teams going at it. It might not be El Clasico these days. El Clasico isn't what it used to be, right? It isn't the Galacticos versus Messi and Piqué and Ronaldinho running out. It's not what it used to be, but it's still a great matchup. Now, Brooks, you specifically had a gripe against the coverage pregame, correct?
Yeah.
What was that?
I just is coverage in general. It's like this is the only, like, besides MLS, what ESPN has, because they don't have the Premier League anymore. It's like, this is our thing. Like, they have Bundesliga, and I don't think they do a good enough job, honestly, highlighting Bundesliga. Like, I think they needed. They've said, we're gonna air them on ESPN and ESPN2, and they just haven't done that. Like, I don't think they've done it enough.
I think they do a great job covering Bundesliga.
Do you think? I think they overhyped this El Clasico with this coverage, and they don't put enough into the Bundesliga. But here, no, on. Let me finish my gripe with El Clasico and the coverage today.
That's right. And the coverage today. Yep.
My gripe is, it's like they want to do all this fancy bullshit with, like, running, 360 around the fucking soccer ball on the fucking podium. Like, how many times can we do this? Like, how much time can we show B-roll before the game? And I've got 30-minute countdown, and we got Dan Thomas and all these other guys just talking shit and whatever. And, like, it's so ESPN. Like, ESPN, to me, I loved watching ESPN when I was younger, because you did the simplistic things. You told me the score, and you gave me the highlights, and you gave me the stats. That's all I want to know. I don't give a shit about any of your opinions. I don't give a shit about anything else. All I wanted to do is watch the damn game, and you just give me some stats, and you give me some facts, and make it interesting. They do all this stuff, and they make it all fancy, and it's absurd. It's totally absurd. It's ESPN nowadays.
I think they go overboard a little bit, but But some of those guys, those pundits, are paid to give their thoughts, right? So they come up with it. I think some of those guys are irrelevant these days. I think they're a little bit past it. I think they need to get new people and a new way of looking at the game, because obviously you've got people who are a little bit more in tune these days, like the three of us and like a lot of the people who are watching us, who know the sport very well, and that gets a little bit repetitive and boring from ESPN. I agree. Nate, looked like you wanted to say something about that.
I mean, I can't speak to the El Clasico matches. I can't speak to MLS that much because I don't watch it that much. I watch it a little bit over here and there, but
I think MLS, they're simplistic with their stuff, at least.
Yeah.
It's not over the top.
But I can tell you, I think they do a great job at the Bundesliga. I mean, they do. They have former players, former German players usually, that are on there explaining things, dropping in very useful information, very useful tidbits. They air all the German stuff, anything that's in Germany, they have rights to it and they air it all. So your weekly recaps, your specials, every one of that's on there. It's actually very entertaining to look through sometimes. They're also connected with Hulu, and so when it's these games are live, it's also live via Hulu through there. Again, I'm speaking very, very, very specifically.
Sure.
Very, very, very specifically. Why that's not happening with the other leagues, I can only think that maybe it's part of the agreement, and maybe the Spanish league or La Liga is just not giving them the feeds, or not giving them all, or not connected to it, because it doesn't seem that way to Germany. It does not. It seems like Germany's literally turning everything over, and they're translating it to English and running it.
Yeah.
Actually, sometimes there's mistakes, and you get it in German, and then they fix it. No, I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
They've come out with like special, and it's all in German, and it's like, I'm like, I can't watch this. And then the next day they like fix it or whatever and have it done right. So,
and I get like Barcelona, Real Madrid, like super old clubs, great rivalry. I don't know. I don't know. To me right now, it's not much of a rivalry right now because one's in financial trouble and the other one is just really rich and can buy whoever they want.
And I think it's hilarious every time Barcelona takes a big old shit because they deserve it, every last minute of it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I rival in their destruction and watching their world burn.
I think most people enjoy watching them burn down, but they still manage to get the players in.
I love that they're on the
cusp
of being put back in the Europa.
That team is on the cusp of maybe dropping down in the second division and starting from scratch almost if they can't figure out their financial troubles. Because they need to win.
They'll just sell more of their TV rights. So a big company will pay the money. They'll get.
But the big thing was they need to get into these
TV rights and image rights moving forward.
They need to advance in qualifiers though to get this money to pay people. Like you can only
Europa League with the results coming up in the Champions League this next week, and they're about to lose a lot of money, multi-millions of dollars, which is really going to hurt them, to be honest.
For Barcelona to play Union Berlin and Jordan Pefok to score a hat trick. And have Union Berlin go ahead of Barcelona.
But you know what's funny is I know you.
This is a real scenario, by the way. It's not a fictional scenario.
I know it is. I know
that could really happen, and it very well might. But
welcome to Freiburg, bitches.
Barcelona are not as bad and is not as bad in a position as people think they are. Financially, they're struggling. As I said, they keep selling off their image rights and their TV rights, but they're not in such a bad position in the league.
In the Champions
League, they're in trouble.
We don't know how bad financially.
They're dropping down to Europa, and everybody's laughing.
Let's be honest. They're not
mathematically they could still get out of their group, but they're gonna. It's a struggle.
Let's be honest.
They are mathematically possible, but not going to happen.
They are probably in very bad financial trouble. They just don't. They're not going to let the public know that.
No,
I'm going to tell you that. They are probably every day every week they're probably shit, we're still alive somehow because we did all these stupid absurd deals and shit, we're still alive. By the way, my point was I know you get upset when Bayern Munich always fucking wins the Bundesliga.
Not this year, baby.
I know not this year, but how boring probably was it to watch I know I'm shitting on La Liga right now. I love how Barcelona used to play in Real Madrid, but how boring is La Liga when it's really only two teams, maybe Atletico every once in a while, that actually wins La Liga? I mean, talk about a boring league, too, that doesn't have a lot of parity because no one else could compete with the other.
Welcome to every league.
It's all of Europe.
League.
Not MLS, damn it! Not MLS!
It's all of Europe. Yeah. And that's my only bitch is that some people pretend like it's not. And it is, though.
Yeah.
It is. Sorry.
Yeah.
What do you want?
But just I don't know. Just El Clasico, listen, there have been some great matchups in my opinion, but I'm not feeling it right now because one's in big financial trouble, and I think it's just overplayed still. That's my opinion. Right now, at this moment, it doesn't have the feel and vibe.
It is a little overplayed.
Yeah.
I absolutely get that, but maybe I'm just harking back to my days of youth of the romanticism, like I said, with some of those players with the Galacticos and Messi and Ronaldinho and some of those players who just brought that classic matchup alive. So you're right. Yeah. Maybe I am. One of the players who did play in El Clasico a lot, I don't have the stats in front of me of how many times, Sergio Ramos, who has now moved on to PSG. His wife, his supermodel wife, this week came out and was giving an interview and said that she and her husband, Sergio Ramos, have sex every single day. They must have some, awesome nanny who takes the kids on a walk every day so they can do that. And even, I don't want to get too much into our sex lives, but every fucking day, man, that's a bit much. That's a bit much. That's all I got. And as I see you guys laughing, but, man, you know what? I have a full-time job. I watch soccer. I play soccer. I'm tired at the end of the day. Every freaking day.
This took a turn, Brian. I know, right?
Is he comparing himself like Sergio Ramos?
I don't know.
I'm confused right now. If he can do it, why the hell can I do it? Sergio Ramos takes vacations in Malta. Where does he find the time? Craig.
It's not about the time. It's the energy level.
Craig. He doesn't live the same life as normal people.
Exactly.
It's
he doesn't have to go to training every day because he's super old, and
Craig,
yeah.
How many private chefs do you have? And how many private chefs?
Just the two. Just the two.
How many private chefs do you think Sergio Ramos has?
Probably just the one.
He doesn't drive his own car probably most of the time if he doesn't want to. All right? Like, you can't compare. Like, you're like, how does he find the time? He doesn't need to.
Exactly.
He doesn't live a normal life.
He's not playing every day at PSG either.
And you're right. He probably
not playing every day anymore.
He probably has two nannies per kid.
Yeah.
You know, he probably
He's got the money to pay him.
That's
taking
true.
care of kids is
you
kind of
think-
like
Another guy who played in El Clasico, Shakira's husband,
Oh, PK?
PK. Maybe they should have been following what Ramos and his wife were doing every day because,
Well, no, didn't PK cheat on Shakira, which is really stupid because if I was married to Shakira, I would
he was never married to Shakira.
Oh, they never got married.
They were married.
Were they?
They were married.
No.
I believe they were
Well, if we were,
they're not-
they were either
they're not
whatever,
together
they were
anymore.
together or
They were just
whatever,
dating.
I would have been
For a
like,
long time.
Yeah. They've got 2
Yeah.
or 3 kids together, I believe. Yeah.
I don't
all I know is I
they're
wouldn't have
actually
messed
married.
that one up. That's for sure. But then now she's up for tax evasion in Spain. Apparently, that she evaded taxes for a while.
Maybe that's
so.
what he was trying to get away from.
Maybe.
I don't know.
You don't pay taxes.
Maybe she was nagging him every day to like hang the drapes or something, and he was like, "God, I'm so sick of hearing about
Rich
this.
people
Oh
and
my
taxes.
God."
Like, what's $3 million to Shakira? Nothing.
Well, it's going to cost her a lot more.
It
Because
will.
remember when Messi was caught evading taxes? And that was a big deal. He paid a lot of money there.
Yeah.
Moving on. Did you guys hear the story about the soccer ball, the hand of God ball? We all know England versus Argentina. The ball comes in. Peter Shilton lazily goes up to punch the ball because he figures, there's a 5'6" little Argentinian. I can get him. And the Argentinian goes up in the hand of God. We all know the ball. That was also the ball where he weaves around half the England team, goes down and scores one of the greatest goals in the history of the sport.
It didn't
That
come home
ball-
that year, did it?
That ball was snuck out of the stadium by the Tunisian referee. He walked off the field with the ball, put it under his shirt, and walked out of the stadium with it.
Really?
And has now decided that he'd like to sell it.
How old is this man?
No, he's pretty old.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's pretty old. He'll now
Must
be
need
selling
it.
that ball for, they said it could fetch anywhere between $2.5 and $3 million.
I can't wait for it to sell and then somebody find out that it's completely fake.
Yeah. Well, I think back then they actually only used to use like 1 or 2 soccer balls. But, I mean, I thought the ball would be worth more than that.
More than 2.5 million?
More than 2.5.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's a pretty significant moment in World Cup soccer history.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I mean, you got to find a buyer. You know, like, so it's got to be. You think there's people who are willing to pay more than $2.5 million for that?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think the jersey he wore just sold for a couple million. I think it might have been $1 million.
2.5
actually.
is a couple million.
I think, yeah, but I would have thought the ball,
Why? You're not going to play with it. It's a
Oh no, it's going to go in
Piece
a
of
museum.
fabric
It's going to
versus
go in someone's
piece
case.
of fabric versus piece of rubber. I mean, it's like the same thing.
It
Practically.
is the same thing. You're right, but that ball is scored two. Actually, it's 2 of the most iconic goals in World Cup history. Obviously, everybody knows that. Everybody knows the hand of God ball, right?
That jersey sold for $9.28 million in an auction in London.
That was
the
recently,
jersey,
right? That was recently, right?
May 4th. This is an article. May 4th, 2022.
Yeah, I was saying it was earlier this year.
And the same could happen with the ball if it goes up for an auction too.
Yes,
and
it's true.
the price will just keep going up. That 2.5 is what the starting.
The starting.
price.
Yeah.
That was higher than Babe Ruth's Yankee jersey that sold for $5.64 million. And then they had something else that sold for $8.8 million. I don't know what it is, but anyways, so that's a lot of money for a jersey.
Yeah, again, one of the most iconic jerseys in that's played a part in history there, and the ball as well. Interesting story with the Tunisian referee, walking out and with the ball under his shirt. Very interesting. It's funny how those things happen.
Yeah, he knew it would be worth something.
The story behind the jersey, I believe, is one of the English players went and swapped jerseys with him after the game and kind of hid it away, knowing that probably later in in life that would be worth a lot of money. And sure enough, what would you say, 9.2, 9.8?
Yeah,
million?
9.8 million,
Yeah, crazy. Absolutely crazy. I do want to give a quick rundown of the rest of the scores that happened in the Premiership before we finish up. Brentford 2, Brighton Hove Albion. Your Seagulls 0. So they go down 2-0. Ivan Toney scores again. The man cannot stop scoring. If you're going to bet, and you're going to bet on Brentford, bet on Ivan Toney to score. The man cannot stop scoring. He right now in the Premiership minus 1 Erling Haaland. Ivan Toney is one of the most informed strikers, English strikers. He still will not be taken to the World Cup. I guarantee that by Gareth Southgate. Leicester City 0, Crystal Palace 0. Brendan Rodgers again under fire there. Not good for him. He was asked after the game if the owners of Leicester City should make a change. He said, well, that's up to them. Not exactly a very convincing answer from Brendan Rodgers.
I think he wants to get fired.
I don't think you're wrong because there's a £10 million buyout.
Yes.
£10 million buyout on his contract.
When people make remarks like that, you're like, just please fire me. Just get it done. Like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Absolutely.
I want a new job.
And the reason right now most people believe that he hasn't been fired is because they think that Leicester City can't afford that £10 million buyout. Even though they sold Fofana to Chelsea for $75 million, they still can't afford that.
It's funny how a team's budget, man.
Yeah,
it's funny how they can't. They're numbers guys, but they can't figure it out.
True.
Yeah.
Fulham 2, Bournemouth 2. Mitrovic scores again. The guy cannot stop scoring as well. There's a lot of strikers right now in the Premiership who are scoring goals. Mitrovic gets one again. Wolves 1, Nottingham Forest 0. I predicted a draw on that game, and it would have been a draw if Nottingham Forest had scored their penalty, but it was saved.
Did you see Nuno make comeback for Wolves?
No, I actually heard they've ruled him out.
They did, okay.
This morning or this afternoon, they ruled him out. They look like they may be heading in a different direction. They are
Direction? Gerard?
Ooh.
No, sorry.
Bit soon for that. Bit soon there, Brooks. Bit soon.
Well, you said direction. I was like, are we hinting at things?
Wolves has had 2 or 3 Portuguese managers. I think I've heard this morning they've ruled Nuno out, and they will be heading in a different direction. They will not be having any more Portuguese managers. Tottenham 2,
going.
Everton 0. Frank Lampard, nothing there out of that game. Tottenham, Harry Kane score again. Everton, Pickford took down Harry Kane in the box. Penalty, a little bit soft. It's all right. Harry Kane looked like he was looking for it. The referee bought it. Harry Kane scores again. Again, another striker. He can't stop scoring. And then we also had Villa 0, Chelsea 2 today at Villa Park. Villa in the first half went at it, looked like the better team, created the more opportunities. Horrendous mistake by Tyrone Mings just leads to an easy goal for Chelsea, and Villa really went at it, though. They hit the crossbar. Just Chelsea's back line played all right, but their goalie played even better. Villa get nothing out of that match. Unfortunate. As we talked about, Leeds 0, Arsenal 1, Man United 0, Newcastle 0. I predicted a draw on that one. Ronaldo starts and then gets subbed out. Only 2 shots on goal for Man United at home as well. That's a little bit of Eric Ten Hag needs to do something there. I predicted more than 2 goals in that game. Both teams in form and scoring goals in the last couple of games. Not to happen, 0-0. Southampton 1, West Ham 1. And then rounding off, as we talked about, Liverpool 1, Man City 0. What a weekend. What an absolute weekend of soccer we've had. There's so much to get to. Why don't we quickly chat about Liga, League One, Ligue 1, as they say. PSG, Erling Haaland. Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe, one of the top players in the world. He's been rumored for the past 18 months to be heading to Real Madrid. This past summer, signed a brand new contract with PSG. They convinced him. They threw the world at him. They promised him this. They promised him that. We don't know the specifics on the contract, but we understand that they promised to bring in a new striker. We understand they promised to bring in a new defender. And they were going to be moving on Neymar so that Kylian Mbappe could be the main man. That didn't happen. They brought in a defender, not exactly a star. They brought in a forward, not exactly a good player. They weren't able to shift Neymar, probably because of his huge contract and everything that's tied to him there. Well, Mbappe not happy. Mbappe cry. 3 months into new contract, Mbappe want out. He says his camp, I don't believe he has said it personally, but his camp, his representatives, his family have come out and said he would like to move away in January. I'm sure there's a buyout clause in that contract. I'm sure there is. He's tied to that club for 3 years. They don't have to sell him. PSG don't need the money. They definitely don't need the money. They can let him sit. They can let him rot on the bench. They can let him rot because they're going to win that league. They're going to win that league with or without him. Messi's playing well. Neymar's playing all right. They have a pretty good team. I do think he's just crying. I think he should wait till the end of the year if he really wants to move. This is not a good look for him. Either way, someone's going to take a chance. Probably Real Madrid will throw money at him. Or Barcelona. Do we think Barcelona could find a way? They always find a way.
Yeah,
Maybe they'll throw money at him. Benzema signed a new contract last year. He's still got some time left on that contract, but they will have some money to spend in the summer, Real Madrid, in my opinion. Maybe they'll throw money. Boys, is Mbappe just being a big crybaby, saying, I didn't get this and I didn't get that, and he needs to move on, and PSG going to let him sit? Thoughts?
Apparently he's learned a lot from Neymar, because that's all Neymar does is bitch and complain.
That's true.
Yeah, honestly, I was disappointed he stayed in PSG in the first place. I thought he should have moved on. Yeah. I'm disappointed in any player that really stays at PSG, for that matter.
Because it's a shit league, or because it's the team that we just don't care about?
Yes.
All of the above from Nate.
From Nate. No, I mean, I think he's okay. If you're a good player, a really good player, why are you basically going to a league that isn't competitive? I'm sorry, it's not. You know what I mean? In the French league, when is PSG won the Champions League?
Never.
When has any French team won any of the European leagues that you can recall in your life?
Didn't Monaco a couple years ago have a good run with Falcao?
No, win.
No, I'm just saying though. Like,
I understand a good run. PSG has a decent run in the Champions League as well, but they always falter and fail in the end.
Yeah.
Now you can say what you want about my Bundesliga that I like. Oh, it's one card team. Blah 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 blah. Who won the Europa last year?
Frankfurt.
And who did they beat? West Ham, Barcelona.
Yeah.
Yeah, some solid teams on doing it too. Okay. Who won 2-3 years ago the Champions League? Munich.
Yep.
So, sorry, there's success there. And you can point to success up and down the league there, and it's competitive. Now, yeah, they have their own problems, don't get me wrong, but when you look to the staple of European competition, they actually perform fairly well. You have several teams that are going to go on to the next stage in the Champions League, or that are in position to go on to the next stage in Champions League. You got several teams who are going to go on to the next stage in the Europa League.
Yeah.
So they have success where it matters and competitive where it matters. The French league doesn't. So for a player of his caliber to stay there, I think is kind of a waste, in my opinion.
I'm shocked the French league has never. I mean, usually Marseille and Monaco and PSG wasn't there for a long time, and
Marseille, Lyon.
It's getting better.
Lyon.
It's still not a good league.
No.
You're right.
Benzema was at Lyon before he went to Real Madrid. But the thing is, like, it's a league where it's almost like if you're a top player, like a young guy in MLS, like you're looking to leave to Europe, like you're in Ligue 1. You have a good season, like you're looking for someone from La Liga, Serie A, or the EPL to buy you, or Bundesliga.
And the top players in the Bundesliga either go to one of the top teams or into EPL.
Yeah.
Do they not? So
I'm just surprised the Ligue 1 doesn't take more pride in like maybe being a top league, especially for the country that France is. Because it's a very nice country. Very attractive to go play in.
They develop a lot of talent.
Ask Kasper Schmeichel.
They develop a lot of talent that goes to a lot of. I still don't understand. I get the reference. I just don't understand. Anyways, they do French. The French league does develop a ton of talent that then goes somewhere
Yeah.
and makes their name for it.
Yeah.
They do. There's a lot of other leagues that buy the French talent, pay them more money, and they develop solid talent.
And then there's Americans
And
that
then
need to find places to play, and they go play in League One, and they can't even do that. Hence, what's his name? The dude that played at FC Barcelona, Conrad de la Fuente.
De La Fuente.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I think we're all in agreement. Mbappe should have left, and now he's just crying because he knows he made a bad
Because he
decision.
did money. He went for
He
money.
took the money.
He
Brad.
could have
That's what
taken
he
less
did.
and had been happier, but he didn't want to.
Quite frankly, I don't know if he would be good in another league yet.
I agree. I don't know if he'd be good in the EPL.
Ooh, hot
Maybe
take
in the
right there.
Bundesliga he'd be interesting,
I'm sorry.
or in Serie A.
you're
But
gonna-
EPL. I'm not sure.
If you're going to jump up,
Yeah.
right? Well, first thing, he's gone away a couple times in the Champions League, has he not? In critical games, he's performed well, but there's been
He's
some
gone
games,
irrelevant.
big games,
Yeah.
when he's playing tough competition.
Yep.
He is disappeared.
I do want to remind
Because
you
he relies
in
on
the
his
last
pace.
World Cup, he was France's main man at the age of
Cool.
18. I mean,
So was
you're-
But you
I mean,
had
you're playing
Benzema.
against-
Like, look how.
but
Look,
he was their main guy. He had a hell of a supporting cast. Don't get me wrong. N'Golo Kante, Pogba, Benzema.
Who was the leading goal scorer?
Absolutely.
I don't think he was the leading goal scorer though for that French team. Who was that again?
wasn't it Benzema that led?
Nope.
Are you gonna say
Nkunku?
the name? We've
I'm
already
just
done
kidding.
that.
Nope.
Go ahead. Tell us. Go ahead.
Was it not the big French striker Olivier Giroud?
Oh,
right?
Giroud?
Giroud. That
He's one of my
that,
favorite
and
strikers.
this is my point. Didn't do very well in many other leagues, but did extremely well for that French team because of the system they played, and just like what you said, the strong supporting cast, like
Yeah.
Mbappe, like
Well,
Pogba,
I think
around him.
what you want to hear is though. Listen, he has tested himself at the highest level in the World Cup, and he has come out on top. He has played very well in Champions League games. Do I think he would be an instant success, just like Erling Haaland in the Premiership? Probably not. But
Actually, you're wrong. It's actually Griezmann and Mbappe had tied for 4 goals apiece. Giroud only had an assist. He didn't score.
Oh, didn't. I thought he set up a ton.
Might have with his movement, but Griezmann though. I mean,
Yeah, same scenario.
exactly.
I don't think Griezmann is not cut out for the Premiership.
No.
The
He's
point
not.
Is,
Mbappe
the point is,
is.
you cannot
Mbappe
take.
is.
My point is,
Yeah.
and my underlining point is you cannot take a player that's done well for their national team and equate it to how they will do for their club team,
And vice versa. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
That was my point.
Yep.
So if it's not club high level, I don't know because
I
he
agree.
hasn't proven
I
himself.
agree, but he has done very well in Champions League, as we talked about, and he's done well at the
Sometimes yes,
national
sometimes
level.
no.
So you got to figure he would have some sort of success if he jumps at a Premiership. He ain't gonna have the sort of success that Erling Haaland has had, which no one saw coming. Right? We always thought he'll be good. He'll be really good at some point in the near future. Instantly, nobody saw that coming like he did. I do think he would be a very good player in the Premiership. I don't think he wants to go to the Premiership. I don't think he wants that level of competitiveness. I think he wants to go.
No, because
as
he
has
couldn't-
said,
he couldn't
wants to go to
showcase
his dream
himself.
club of Real Madrid and play in La Liga.
Once he's matched up against someone that's just as athletic as he is, it negates everything that he can do because he's a guy that runs at players and he pushes the ball by him.
The problem is
what
you're not
happened
going to
when-
find a lot of people who
Yeah.
are as good athletically as he is.
I'm gonna say
In the
happened
Premiership,
when
you would.
PSG played Munich, and where did he go there when Alphonso
Davies,
Davies
exactly.
pretty much put him in?
Because he's the same athlete right there.
He was the same
Dave-
athlete,
yeah.
and that was his job, and he
You
was
saw
not there.
you saw what he did last year against Real Madrid, though. I mean, he took that game on his. He put that team on his back.
Did
and he
they?
was scoring
Weren't they a bunch of
goals last
old
year.
guys that
Yeah.
weren't really athletic
Old
though?
guys.
Oh, you mean the Real Madrid team that actually did
Yeah,
go on to
you're
win?
right. You're right. He did
win the-
fantastic in that game. That's a great thing that they knocked Real Madrid out of that, and they didn't win that.
But what is Mbappe if he gets hurt and then he's
can't
no longer
defend,
fast
he can only
anymore? I'm just saying though, like that's how I judge how good of a player is. If you get hurt and you take away your best attribute, what else do you bring to the table?
Oh, and I think we're actually arguing on the same side.
Yeah.
He should go to another league.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not the Premiership. I don't think he wants to go to the Premiership. I think he wants to go to the league.
Serie A he would go to or La Liga.
I think it will happen at some point, but we're all arguing the same thing. He's whining and being a crybaby.
All I gotta say is the one person that matters, the one opinion that matters. Mr. Michael Tyson, Pogba, great for France club, not so much. Great for France, sorry, ... club, not so much.
Agreed.
So he agrees with me.
Yes.
Agreed. I think we can all agree that he's been shit for every club he's played for.
Michael Tyson?
Besides Juventus.
He was good for Juventus.
He was good for Juventus.
But he kept getting those moves based on how good he does for France and what the potential that he had.
Exactly.
It just... All right, boys.
He was great in the Pepsi commercial, guys.
Oh, that Pepsi commercial, by the way, is phenomenal.
I
my word, I love that commercial with Pogba and Messi. All right, we're at the end of an hour. We're going to take a quick 2, 3, 4, 5 minute break here. Everybody who's joining us live, go ahead, get some chips, get some beer, and we'll be right back. We're going to do Team of the Week. We'll talk about Wrexham. We'll talk about MLS. We'll talk Bundesliga. You got it on the other side. We'll see you guys in a couple minutes. All right, guys, welcome back again. Put your comments, put your thoughts in the comments below. We're reading them. We'll read them out live. We'll answer them as we go along here. All right, we're up for the second hour of We Are Soccer this Sunday. We're going to talk Wrexham. We're going to talk Team of the Week. We'll talk MLS Playoffs. We'll talk Bundesliga chat time with Nate. We will talk Washington bars being open 24/7 for the World Cup. World Cup players who are not going to be World Cup players who are missing this World Cup due to injury. And then we'll talk local soccer, Detroit City, and where they're ending up in the playoffs, which start next week. Okay, Wrexham, everybody's favorite team. Everybody loves Welcome to Wrexham. The Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney show that is on FX. Everybody's fallen in love with this club. They played this past Saturday against Blythe. Not many people know where Blythe is. It was an FA Cup.
It's in England.
Somewhere in England. FA Cup fourth round matchup, was it, or something like that? Wrexham went to Blythe. Typical lower division FA Cup match. Stadiums were packed. It looked like about 3,000, 4,000 people were there. The announcers were pretty much on top of the field. They had a front row seat. They almost got hit by the ball at one point. There was a guy named John the Toaster who had a toaster on his head.
Wow.
Apparently, he goes to bars and plugs the toaster in and makes toast for people.
That's awesome.
That is
I would 100% eat John the Toaster's toast gladly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, when you follow teams like Blythe or Wrexham, you go from city to city, you have funny things like John the Toaster.
And
you get drunk, you meet people, and you make toasts.
Is his favorite movie The Brave Little Toaster?
What?
Ooh.
Is that a kid's movie?
Yes, it is.
I have no idea.
I used to watch that as a kid, yeah.
Same.
It is a very sad.
Yeah. It's a very sad movie.
Yeah.
Just take the toaster out back and kill it like...
the toast is an animated... The toaster is an animated character, and they got to find the... Yeah.
Listen, having not grown up here in America for the first 10 years of my
shut
life...
it. You
I have
moved
no idea
here.
what you're
You
talking
moved
about.
here when you're like 4 or whatever.
10.
Get out of here.
9.
Get out of here.
Anyway.
Most of your life has been in America.
This is
Shut
true.
up.
Only 30 years. All right, so Wrexham versus Blythe, 1-1. Again, lack of quality, but if you're expecting Premiership or Bundesliga or La Liga type quality, this isn't for you.
So
it's athletic, it's fun, it's hard-nosed. It is lacking a little quality, and welcome to the lower leagues.
So I'm going to have to now smack you for that comment.
Well, I said Bundesliga has quality.
No, I'm going to have to. Okay. Not everything's Bundesliga. Come on, not everything's Bundesliga. No, but I don't like that kind of like just because to me the game is for everyone and people like it for different reasons, and I don't whether you show up to a high school game. Whether you're one of the 100 people that used to watch me in your, play, yes, there's about like 50 to 100 people that show up for that religiously because that's their
team.
Yeah. And or just a couple thousand in there. It's special for everyone, and so I think you can find enjoyment and appreciation, even though it is a lower league, even though it might not be the quality that you want. Those games still to me are very, very exciting. And I think there's something special about those.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like summer soccer around here in the States, where they get the kids to come back and, OCFC and you get Flint City Bucks and AFC Ann Arbor and, back when DCFC was NPSL. I mean, you forget, those were guys that played college soccer and some that were still playing college soccer in the summer. So, it's a club's a club,
You take it for what it's worth.
Yeah.
And pro leagues around the world are going to play different and be different, and you take it for what it's worth. And I think it's all special and with its own right. So,
I agree. I see. Maybe I used the wrong wording there, but I agree. I mean,
listen, I watch a lot of soccer, and I get bored of the lower league stuff too sometimes. But you just, you gotta take it for what it's worth,
But is it not different in a special way, though? You know what I mean? Like, you watch it for something different. Like, I watch the Bundesliga for something completely different than I watch the EPO with, and then I watch the MLS with.
Oh, of course.
And it's just different, and it's special in its own right.
Yeah, it's like, sometimes there's days where I'd rather watch youth soccer than go to a college soccer match.
Can't wait to see you at my 2011 games.
Just because, it's, MLS Next is going to be a little more attractive style soccer than some collegiate teams play, unfortunately. And when you're in the heart of your season and, you got it crammed into a 3-month schedule. But there are times when I am very impressed with how some of the collegiate teams do play. So
yeah, and
to round it out,
I absolutely get it. It's like I said, not the most attractive soccer in the world, but it's entertaining. It is whatever you want to get out of it.
But that's the eye of the beholder. So as the representative of the National League, we accept your apology, Craig. And moving on.
Moving on. There was actually a player who came on for Blythe late in the second half who was a former Michigan State player.
I'm surprised.
I've sent his name off to you yesterday, Brooks. I think it was in our group chat.
It was.
Yeah, you pointed it out.
Yeah.
And while you're looking up for that, I'm going to say that I'm kind of surprised that there isn't more, an outreach to get Americans actually from the Wrexham with the American owners and maybe working stuff out where,
from the people I talked to a lot,
that's
kind of the one where, so listen, when you're talking about the college player, a lot of them don't want to take that adventure, but the problem is like Croatia, Czech, it's
that's what I mean. It's a little bit different.
It is.
Yeah.
But if you're seeing now, you make it seem like Wrexham where you can get paid for $30,000-$40,000. I mean, maybe some kids will be like, man, I'll go battle around in the 5th division. I mean, if you look how that's how Jade Demera was. If we know the story of Jade Demera, I mean, UIC wanted to go play overseas in England. He battled through the 5th league and he got his chance, and then he found Watford, and he got Watford from the championship to the EPL, and
Jamie Vardy. I mean, not an American, but the same story.
Yeah, exactly. So
battled up and played in every division in England has to offer. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think honestly those 5th tier the National League teams should look for more of the collegiate guys because they have some fire in their gut that they can they're one step away from the pro game.
I absolutely agree. The only problem is work permits, right?
Of course, always.
It's always
in England, always.
Yeah. So
it's easier in Germany and other countries. England, it's really tough.
Super tough to get work permits over there. The player was Matty Cornish, I believe his name is. He played at Michigan State, I think, for a year. Played for Michigan Stars as well. Was local here. Bounced around, I believe, but he is English, so went back. He was originally from England, so he went back, and now he's caught on with Blythe. But an interesting game, ended 1-1. Wrexham, probably the better team overall. Now ended 1-1, goes back to Wrexham, back to the race course, and a replay will be played, I heard Tuesday, but I'm not 100% sure. All right, why don't we move on? What we do here every week, we partner up with Michigan Soccer Central, and we have the We Are Soccer and Michigan Soccer Central Team of the Week. This week we have, who's the winner? The Michigan State University women's soccer team. They have had one heck of a year so far.
12-1-3.
Yeah, 11-1-3 and 6-0-12. They won again. That's
Beat
right.
Northwestern. They're on first in the Big Ten.
They did,
and it's been a while since they've been there.
Number
so that's
one in the
huge.
Big Ten.
Yeah.
7-0-1 Big Ten play.
Yeah.
Currently on a 6-game winning streak.
Yeah.
Coach Jeff Hostler having a hell of a year with his team there.
So
Michigan State women's soccer team.
So since September 29th, so their winning streak. So they beat Purdue on the 25th. Then they had to go to Penn State and beat number 6 Penn State. Mm-hmm. Then they beat Maryland at Maryland. They beat U of M. They beat IU, and they had to go to number 5 Northwestern today, and they beat them 2-1. So, man, what a job Jeff Hosler's done there.
Wow. I mean, that team is just cruising along.
Yeah.
So congratulations to the Michigan State University women's team. You guys are on a roll. Go green. It is fun to watch. Go green, go white.
Yeah.
Congratulations for being the Michigan Soccer Central and We Are Soccer Team of the Week. If you want to nominate a team to be Team of the Week, hit us up on our social channels. We've got YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, you name it, we've got it.
Instagram.
Or Instagram, that's true. We've had a couple of nominations come through Instagram. Hit up We Are Soccer or Michigan Soccer Central. Tag, let us DM, whatever, let us know. Recommend, nominate a team. we'll put it in for next week. So,
Yeah.
again, congratulations to the Michigan State University women's team. All right, now we're going to jump in. It's playoff time.
Yeah.
Playoffs. MLS.
MLS. Yeah.
All right, we've had a couple of games already. The playoffs started this week, Brooks. Some fun games. I watched that Austin game today. That was fun.
Yes.
What's going on? Tell us. Let's go. Let's jump in. I want to know more. And the people want to know what's going on with MLS in the playoffs.
Yes. Well, just currently we had a game finish. Montreal beat Orlando 2-0. So
I think I called that one. I called Montreal beating Orlando.
yes, I had them picked in our bracket challenge. So I am. Let's see. I am 3 for 4 so far. Or no, well 3 for 1. Well, there's a few more games left. But anyways, so I'm on 60 points right now. So I think I'm in first place in our league. Anyways,
Boo.
or maybe you are. I don't know.
No
But
one
yeah.
cares, bro.
I know.
I only got 40. I don't think it's showing up in the league, but
It hasn't. Okay.
What do I have?
I also
You were tied with me at 40, and you may be tied now because if you picked Montreal, then you're at 60 with me. So
You're not in first place. We're tied. We're tied.
Okay.
Anyway. All right, onwards. All right,
Anyways.
so
Yeah.
Montreal win 2-0.
Yeah.
We know the game earlier between Real Salt Lake and Austin, that ended in penalties
Yes.
with Austin FC going through their goalkeeper. Woo!
Yes.
He got his hands on 2 of them.
Stuver.
He got his hands on 2 of them.
Yeah.
Actually, he got his hands on 3 of them, but the first one scooted through.
It did.
And then the fourth one was
Underneath.
blasted over.
Yeah.
He did very well. That is Nate's team. Nate, did you pick them to win it all?
I don't think I did.
Yeah,
I think I picked LA to win it all. To be honest, because
LAFC or LA Galaxy?
LAFC because
Yeah,
I was
smart.
entrenched by the stardom
Yeah.
of them and Kellen Acosta. So that's
Ooh, Kellen Acosta, one of our
Yeah,
favorites.
baby.
Yeah.
so I did pick them to go pretty far though, I believe. But yeah, in the end, I think LA.
We do have to mention. I think every time we need to, whenever we mention Kellen Acosta, we got to mention that he is friends with our good friends, Aaron Bird of Next
Wait,
Level Training.
hold on. I have
Next Level
friends?
Training. Who? What?
I have friends.
Well, you're friends with us,
Okay.
and we are friends with Aaron Bird
Yes.
of Next Level Training.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
you are
And
actually.
So wait a minute, by proxy, I'm best friends with Kellen Acosta.
Exactly.
Hey, Kellen, guess what? Next steak sandwiches, I got the cookout, brother. It's on me. It's on me. I'm looking up recipes now.
Yeah, exactly. By proxy, we're all good friends,
Yeah.
best friends with Kellen Acosta.
But,
because
yes.
he
Ah.
occasionally comes in and practices, trains with Aaron and Next Level Training. I'm pointing over there because they train down there.
Yep.
And Kellen Acosta has been here. We love Kellen Acosta because he is a U.S. men's national team midfielder. And what a hell of a player. Again, trains with Next Level Training. If you are looking for training and you're in the Metro Detroit area, hit up Next Level Training. Aaron Bird and his staff do an absolutely phenomenal job. Some of my favorite players have become trainers. Man, I was watching their training session the other day. Woo! I'm glad I don't have to go through it because I was sweating just watching. All right, back to the MLS playoffs. Brooks, what other games do we have? We had I think I picked that Nashville game, and I think they lost.
They did
I picked Nashville
1-0.
too because I thought I had an expert to tell me that they're a good team, but
they
you know.
lost to LA Galaxy, right?
Yeah, they did
Oh.
1-0, and a nice header from Julian Araujo on the back post
Yeah.
in the
But that-
second half.
But now that leads to LA Galaxy against LAFC in the next round, right?
El Tráfico playoff.
The El Tráfico playoff matchup.
Yeah.
That game is at LAFC.
Yes.
And is that next weekend, I believe?
Yes, I believe.
Looking forward to
Let's
that
have
one.
it.
That's got to be one to watch.
Yes, so that's going to be on the 20th at 10 p.m. on FS1. So that is going to be a classic Western Conference time match at 10 p.m.
What day
for
did you
us.
say at 10 p.m.? Sorry?
The 20th.
The 20th. So
Yes.
that's
Thursday?
Thursday night.
Yeah.
Thursday night soccer.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Or Wednesday.
And just so everybody's aware, LAFC, since they finished first, got a bye in the first round. So they were watching yesterday's game against with Nashville against LA Galaxy,
Yeah.
taking notes. And now the LA Galaxy travel across town to LAFC Thursday, 10 p.m. That is going to be a hell of a game. Hopefully Gareth Bale plays. That'd be nice. Do we think Cellini's going to play, or he's not even in the top 11, is he?
I mean, we've talked about before is Cherundolo's left those two guys out and come off the bench.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard when you have a guy like Vela and Bale that listen, they're not what they used to be, and they have to come inside the game and play between the lines. So they need an out-and-out winger. They can't just have three guys sitting centrally.
Right.
And they can shoot the outside backs, but they get some from Palacios. Hollingshead has been good as well, but so I don't think don't change it if it's it's not broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it'd be interesting to see if Bale does start. I mean, maybe Chiellini, maybe, I don't know, but we'll see how Cherundolo approaches that. I think another big game here was kind of one I called was FC Cincy Red Bull. Talk about Red Bull, their strikers not finding the game, and they've just been so off. I mean, they had a good start to the season. In the middle of the year, they were good, and I mean, you look at FC Cincy. They tied the game on a Luciano Costa, PK, and then towards the end of the match, great ball from wide into Brandon Vasquez that demolished Aaron Long. To be honest with you, Aaron Long couldn't keep up with Vasquez. And
you know who picked that one right?
I got that right too.
Just saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you listen to my advice?
No. No, I did for the Nashville game though. I did for that one.
I just thought with
what was
Mukhtar,
the final score on that Cincy Red Bull game?
2-1.
2-1.
Yep. And then if we want to recap today's match earlier. Unfortunately, we didn't get to watch because we were filming. The show now is Montreal just finished with Orlando, but the Austin FC game I thought was very. Our RSL game was a really interesting one. You had RSL jump out right from the beginning. I mean, less than 3 minutes in, they score.
All of a sudden, 3 minutes in, and there's a goal, and that's how you want it, right? The away team scores. Now the home team's got to come out and go at it and play.
Exactly.
That was fun. That was how you want it to start.
Exactly, and then then you get the PK with the guy trying to whip the ball back in. The defender extends the arm.
It was a PK, right?
Yeah.
It was a penalty. It was the correct call.
Yeah, he extends the arm. Cordova slots it in the corner again. After scoring the header on the first goal, now they're up 2-0. Then Drusy gets, a good cross into the box. He gets into the 18. He slots that and you have a 2-1 game.
That's a nice
but I think the biggest downfall, we talked about before we started the show was just Ruby Rubin with the stupid foul in the first half, trying to go in for a challenge that Cascante sticks his head into. If he had just left that, then he wouldn't be on a yellow card, and then his stupid slide tackle in the second half that gave him the second to give him the red.
53rd minute, the second yellow. I mean, absolutely the stupidest thing I think I've ever seen. And trust me, I'm a striker, and I've had balls come over the top, and you're going in and you're trying to beat the keeper to it.
Yeah.
And listen, if you can't get it and the keeper's going to get there, you don't slide into the goalkeeper.
Exactly.
There's only one thing that's going to happen. Keeper's going down,
Yep.
Yellow card, maybe even a straight red comes out.
Yep.
But if you're on a yellow card, what the hell are you doing sliding into a goalkeeper who clearly got to the ball first? It seemed like several seconds earlier than him. Dumbest play I've ever seen. Put your team down a man.
Yep.
There was only one thing that was.
And they had to sit and defend. I mean, at that point, it was just sitting and defending. And they had a couple of scoring chances. Yeah. Brody got up, down, and he dribbled inside the box at one point, but he ran into Severino, I think. And he, unfortunately, Stuver came out, but there was no way that was a foul on Stuver. So, they had opportunities, RSL, to score, but you had to sit in essentially. Yep. You couldn't really do much. It was
had to
difficult.
Sit in and pray that it was going to end that way, and it didn't, obviously, because it went on.
It did. It went on, and unfortunately, the tough part was you bring in a veteran like Scott Caldwell that comes in, who was been with the Revs for so long, has played in this league for so long. And he turns when the shot happens, and his arms extended, and it's a PK. Drusy buries it, and then now you're just hoping to God that you can get to PKs because now you're still down to 10 men. Now you got to play another 30 minutes, so your legs are tired by then.
Yep.
Zach McMath has had one hell of a game for you, and he's kind of cramping up. He's starting to cramp up later in the second half and into overtime. And, he tried what he could do, and he got you to PKs. And unfortunately, RSL just couldn't convert their PKs where Austin could, and Brad Stuver makes some big saves. And that's all she wrote. And it was kind of sad because RSL really, really had to play well the last 3 weeks to even get into the playoffs. I mean, you do all that, and then that one moment takes it away from you. But for me, I do credit for, big credit for Pablo Mastroeni, just with the way and all the stuff what they've dealt with, just between the change of ownership and everything else they've just kind of dealt with. For him to go in and get them to make the playoffs again, I think that was a huge. It was a great job by him, and I think he should definitely be up for Coach of the Year. I know we have the awards. I'm trying to figure out what the awards list here because I wanted to talk about that. Just Manager of the Year and.
When are those going to be handed out? Do we know? Because they haven't been. There's just a list of who's. Just a list of who's up for the awards currently. Right?
I believe so. Yeah.
I don't think they're handed out for another week or two.
Yeah.
From what I understand, that's something we can always kind of put up a graphic next week and go through and say who we believe should win.
Yep.
We do know that isn't it Mukhtar who won Golden Boot?
Yes, Mukhtar won Golden Boot.
And he was up. He was close last year, or did he? No, he didn't win last year.
Yeah. So here we go. Here's some of the guys that are up for some stuff. Hold on. No, wrong one.
While you're looking for that,
yes.
If anybody is interested in any of the MLS jerseys or any of the World Cup jerseys, visit soccerworld.net for those jerseys. Or if you're local, they have 3 local stores: Canton, Rochester, and Brighton. Brighton's my favorite. So you can get any of those MLS and World Cup or any club jersey you kind of want. Go to soccerworld.net.
Yes. So we have here, for the Landon Donovan MVP Award, we have Christian Arango, Andre Blake, Sebastian Drusi, Chicharito, and Mukhtar. For Young Player of the Year, we have Thiago Almada from Atlanta, Brenner from Cincy, and Jesus Ferreira from Dallas. MLS Defender of the Year, Alexander Collins, Jacob Glesnes, and Kai Wagner. Goalkeeper of the Year, Andre Blake, Drake Callender from Miami, who had a good career. Came from Cal Berkeley, San Jose Earthquakes Academy player that Miami had purchased the rights to. And then the New England goalkeeper that took over for Turner, Georgi Petrovic, who's had one hell of a year. Unfortunately, New England didn't make the playoffs. Newcomer, Thiago Almada, Juan Acucho Hernandez for Columbus, who they brought in halfway through the season. And then, Georgi Petrovic from New England. And then come back, we have Abobasi for San Jose, Gonzalo Higuain, who we know is retiring at the end of the year, who's calling his soccer career quits. And then Kai Kamara, who has really revitalized his career after having a great, with Sierra Leone and playing with their national team. Coach of the Year, Ziggy Schmidt, Coach of the Year. Cherundolo, Curtin, and Nancy. I felt like Mastroeni really got screwed here. Of course, they picked Cherundolo because he was Supporters Shield, but I mean, how can you not have a good team and win all that with all those players?
Oh, yeah.
I would like to see Wilfred Nancy win. We can say Jim Curtin's on there, and he's done one hell of a job at Philly. But
what about Pat Noonan?
Exactly.
I mean, Pat Noonan. Takes this team into the playoffs for the first time ever after 3 years in a row winning. What do they call it? The wooden spoon? Is that what it is? Where you finish bottom of the league?
Exactly.
They finished. Cincinnati finished bottom of the league 3 times. Pat Noonan gets in there.
What about Phil Neville?
5th. Or Philly? Yeah.
I mean, why don't we have Phil Neville in there too? It's
he
absurd.
Did a hell of a job down in Miami. Agreed. Yeah. I mean, we didn't think they'd win more than anything close to 10 games, and they got into the playoffs and did very well. Absolutely, another good candidate right there.
Wilfred Nancy dedeserves that award, in my opinion. So we can dive deep into him a little more. So those finalists. So we have here. 15 finalists. When's the award supposed to happen? They always have time to vote, so we'll figure it out.
We'll put up some graphics and we'll get some votes in.
November 1st, they'll be revealed.
Ooh, MLS, so we got 2 weeks before that.
Yeah, the MLS Best 11 as well.
Very well. We could also put that together ourselves, put a Best of 11 together.
Could.
Lots of time to come.
Yes.
Those to be revealed November 1st, as Brooks said.
Yes.
All right, Brooks. Well, next week, more playoffs, more to talk about. We'll get closer to who we think is going to be the MLS champion, who takes that. LAFC. I think I have LAFC. Brooks, did you pick Philadelphia?
Yes, I've been preaching this. I've stuck to my guns. FC Dallas versus Philly, and Philly wins. All right, so everything I've said on our shows, I've stuck to my guns. All right, I have not changed my pick. Okay, so everyone needs to know that.
I've got LAFC versus Philadelphia, and I think I have LAFC taking it in the final. We'll see if that happens. We will see.
What's Nate have? LAFC?
I have LAFC versus, and I think this was purely a Brooks pick, LAFC versus Philadelphia Union.
Oh.
You got Union winning as well?
No, I have LAFC winning because I think everything's rigged in this world, and therefore LAFC, the LA club with all the superstars, should probably come out champion.
You and I are LA brothers, and we're versing the Union guy over there.
Yeah.
Versing the
but
Union guy.
My final is LAFC versus Philadelphia Union, with LAFC in the conference finals nudging out Austin, and Philadelphia nudging out New York in that conference final.
Yeah, I think I have that one too.
The final will be Philadelphia versus LAFC with LAFC.
Cool.
Why? Because
actually, I have Philly and Montreal in the Eastern Conference Final.
Well, that's good news. You're wrong.
I have that as
because TV ratings will be better for Philly and New York, and that's why it will be Philly versus New York.
So Amos is going to rig the playoffs to make sure New York City gets it?
I don't think it's rigged this year, but maybe next year once Apple TV gets involved, right, Nate? Then they're going to want the big numbers.
Private pumps, all rigged.
Yeah,
it's all rigged.
Oh, Nate.
Just so happened. I'm super shocked that England and somehow USA are playing a Black Friday. Oh, that's random draw. How does that happen? Several times in a row, randomly.
Are we not looking forward to that game?
Oh,
Are we not looking forward? Tell me that is not going to be one of the biggest sporting events that ever happen in the world, right there. America versus USA on Black Friday. I mean, it could be 1.5 billion strong watching that game. Anyway, onward.
I can't wait for Wales and Iran to come out of that group.
That would go against everything you just said regarding conspiracy theories.
Can't wait for that.
You mean when the U.S. and Wales come out?
No, it's going to be
Wales. Or U.S. and Iran?
Yeah, Wales and Iran.
It's not coming home?
Wales and Iran.
It's coming home. Whoa, it's coming home. Okay. And I believe Kirk Hodges put something in one of the Facebook group comments about coming home and whatever. It's coming home. I tell you, it's coming home. All right. Thank you, Brooks, for MLS Roundup.
You're
very
welcome.
much appreciate it. Good job. Very, very good insight. As usual, LAFC all the way. All right, Nate. It's time. Are we going to get a little song this week? Are you going to do your little song and dance for Bundesliga chat time? Bundesliga chat time?
No, because now you asked for it. Now I feel it's forced. It has to be natural, or else it just kidding, it's your favorite time of the week. When you want a friend, it's Bundesliga chat time.
I want a friend?
Bundesliga chat time with Nate and We Are Soccer Boys. All right.
And Brooks. And Craig.
I know we want to talk about your game of the week. The rest of us had another game of the week. You've got a game of the week.
I got many games of the week.
Yeah, but the big one you talked about at the start of the show.
There were several games I talked about that I said, please turn in. You should turn in because they're going to be exciting. And I was right on all of them.
Hold on. Before we get started on Bundesliga chat time, Stuttgart won. So Nate and his weekend were not as bad as he made out to be. Stuttgart won, took 3 points, and move up the table a little bit. Back to Nate. Hey, Stuttgart jersey. Love it. So costume changes very quick.
And by the way, Michael said that we should all dress up for Halloween, and I am with him on this one. And him and I have already been planning what my costume will be.
Before we jump in, sorry to cut you off. Random idea, random thought.
Yeah.
We should have in the Facebook group or whoever wants to, we don't want to say compete, soccer costumes that people get to post pictures.
Yes, compete.
We should have a thread that you take your soccer picture, Halloween soccer costume picture, and maybe the best one can win a prize. We can vote as a group. I don't know.
I'm going as a Shulk beer guy. Anyways.
How many Ted Lasso costumes do you think would appear?
I thought Nate wanted to be a Ted. I thought he was going to rank Kenter, maybe Ted Lasso himself.
That'd be cool. Anyway, onwards.
Inferior show.
Onwards. All right.
And onwards and upwards. So I said, hey, turn into Hoffenheim versus Schultz because that's a coach playing for his job, and Hoffenheim smacked the hell out of him. And waiting for that coach then to be fired. So that'll be interesting with a 3-0.
And the merry-go-round keeps going.
Yep. I said Frankfurt and Leverkusen should be interesting, and 5-1 later, it was definitely interesting. My Stuttgart versus Welcome, yes, that was a good match. They finally got their first win of the year, 4-1 for them. I'm a little bit annoyed with that because they fired their coach. So now they got what they call the new manager bump. Leverkusen had that last week, and they looked phenomenal. And then they got dump trucked by Frankfurt. So, everyone's going, and we had this conversation, well, is it the new coach or not? I don't see anything he did different. And this is my gripe. It's not that I thought the old coach was the best thing since sliced bread, but it's my same argument with the firing of Klinsmann. If you're going to fire somebody, then have a plan. And right now you have an interim guy in there. That's what he is, an interim from the staff. Yep. He ran the same formation. He put the same players in the same spots. They just played a crappier team. By the way, they didn't look bad against Union. Lost 1-0 to a team who's top of the league. They tied also Munich. So there you go. They had it in them. They just had a spirit of bad luck. But they started the weekend in relegation battle and ended 3 spots above out of that. So, hey, good job. Thanks, everyone else, for playing. Leipzig jumped out to 3-0 against Hertha, and then Hertha squeaked its way back. My absolute game of the week, and what's going to set up this next conversation. Oh, before I get to there, just a real quick covering. Munich and Freiburg. Shame on you, Freiburg. Why the hell didn't you put up a better fight? You got your head punched in by Munich 5-0. Yeah, they just came out and steamrolled Freiburg. I thought that was going to be more of a closer match. No. So, Union versus Dortmund. You guys probably don't watch it because you don't believe in Union. Fine. Be that way, jerks. Anywho, Union Berlin are legit. They legit took Dortmund out. Now their first goal.
And let's make clear, Dortmund, great, really good team.
Yeah, they were not
Champions League.
They were not the better team.
They are a very good team. Don't get anything mistaken here.
Yep.
But Union Berlin took it to them, right?
Yeah, they took it to them, and they looked good. They looked the better side. They could have had a couple more excellent goals that squeak in. Now the first goal for sure was a goalkeeper fault. Pass back to Kobel, former Stuttgart goalkeeper. Plug. He duffed it, scraped. They went to go clear it out and just completely shanked it. It landed right to a Union player. Goal went in. That was the first one. Second goal was assisted by a Jorhan Pifo Shabatu. Maybe you've heard of him. I think he plays a reject from the U.S. national team because he's not good enough there. But
Greg Berhalter, are you listening?
He's not good enough to play for the national team, but good enough to start for the number one team in Germany right now. I don't know.
I put in the group chat that him, Vasquez, and Sargent might as well be the 3 we take.
No,
but
all 3 can't stop scoring goals.
He sucks.
Greg Berhalter, pay attention.
That awful player somehow had an amazing assist for the second goal. And again, 2-0, but literally, Union did not dominate the possession stat, but they dominated the expected goals. They dominated the goals for, and I think they're a legit team. And I think honestly, I have 5 reasons. 5 reasons. My top 5 reasons.
Wow,
I'm going to go into why Union might win the league this year. Are you ready for Nate's top 5?
You think Union are going to go on and
top 5?
No, you called München one of the best teams in the world.
Top 5.
Okay, I want to hear it.
Top 5.
Let's do it.
Reason number 1. Did you know that we're a third of the way through the Bundesliga, Craig?
Really?
Yes, we're actually a third of the way through because there's only 18 teams in this league. So we're actually a third of the way through. A third of the way through, they're 4 points ahead of München right now. They then play Bochum away. That should be a win. Gladbach at home. That should be a win. They're 18th. And Gladbach is 6th. Leverkusen away. Leverkusen is really struggling. Augsburg at home, and the only hard match they have is Freiburg away. They have in front of them easily 4 winnable games, and they're already 4 points ahead. That's reason number 5. Schedule. 4. Luck of the bounce. absolute luck of the bounce. And, you have luck in football sometimes. Can we all agree?
Yep.
And
Soccer guys
they're shining bright on Union. That first goal should have never happened against them today. It happened, though. And they scored it. And there were several times when they took away points from München where the ball is just bouncing their way right now.
The soccer gods is a real thing.
Yep. It's absolutely shining.
Yes.
They're in form, and they're getting luck of the bounce. Number 3, World Cup break. They're already ahead of the table.
Yep.
They're not going to have a lot of guys going out. All of München's gone. All of Dortmund's gone.
Yep.
They're going to sit pretty. Those guys are going to get rest.
That's a huge thing
That's
for
a
all
huge
the
thing.
leagues.
Yeah.
And they
The
can
big
focus on
boys, the big teams have all their players
But
disappearing for a month for the World Cup.
But unlike some of the other big leagues, they're already going to be ahead they should already be ahead when this happens. Unless catastrophe happens, they'll already be ahead of the game when this happens. So this goes back into that World Cup theory I had. Number 2, home field advantage. Union, small ass stadium, 20,000 fans are close. These fans are rabid because they have never experienced success like this ever, and they were loud, and that is a highly toxic atmosphere to be in. They have home field advantage. 22,000 people that are just going insane in that stadium. And that stadium has an old school scoreboard, Craig.
Yeah.
That's how crazy this place is. They literally, with the numbers that they put up, not digital, that they set up.
Wow.
So that's got to be a huge advantage going forward.
I love it.
And number 1 with a bullet, the top defense in the league and the 5th goals per minute in the league. They are better defensively than München. And they played München already. And they played Dortmund. And they're better. They are not allowing goals in. And they're defending as a singular unit and a singular team. It is honestly some excellent team play. And so that's my top 5 reasons. And then just Americans around within. Reina got in for Dortmund, 82 minutes. Didn't do much. We already talked about Pfog. He had to go out. Bit of an injury, so that will be the reason why Bullholzer doesn't call him up, and then he's going to make some excuse about some injury and just didn't get him in, and yada, yada, yada. And that's why he's not going to be there, but we all know that's bullshit. It's bullshit, so I'm calling it ahead of time. Scully got a full 90. He will also make the World Cup team either because, why would he? He plays full 90.
Scally was called in.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They'll pick
last
whatever.
2 games and play.
Yeah.
I hate everything. Anyways, that Kevin Paredes, if I'm pronouncing the late Paredes, he got in for Wolves. Wolfsburg got in 73rd minute.
Decent night at home.
Yeah, and so he's starting to get starting minutes there for Wolfsburg, which is great. And then League 2, Julian Green played 18 minutes, and Bello played a full 90. Midweek Pokal this week, by the way. Similar to your FA Cup, it's coming up. There's some interesting matches if you want me to cover them. If not, you can skip it. But the midweek Pokal matches for...
Did Dortmund play?
Dortmund's playing, yeah. Dortmund, that's actually Wednesday. You got Freiburg versus St. Pauli, which should be good. Handover 96 playing Dortmund, which should be good.
Yeah.
Augsburg versus München, which should be really good. If you remember, last time München went to Augsburg won. So 1-0. So it's in September. So that replay is happening again. Stuttgart versus Bielefeld is going on too that midweek. Leipzig on Tuesday. Leipzig versus Hamburg, which should be really good. And then the Stuttgart Kickers, the smaller club, is going to be hosting Frankfurt. And that is one to turn into, just because they're playing in one of those really, really small 12,000 person stadium type deals. Yeah. And Frankfurt has to go play there. And that will be on TV. So that would be interesting just for the atmosphere to tune in to see Frankfurt, who's normally accustomed playing in front of 40, 50,000 people, playing in front of 12.
Do you know what I love about those games you just said?
Yeah.
They're midweek games that I get to bet on in the Bundesliga.
Hey!
So I like it because you just have to wait till the weekend. You get one game on the Friday, most of the half the games on the Saturday, the other half on the Sunday, so there's only 3 days. Now I've got midweek games to look forward to in Bundesliga teams.
Yeah.
So I love it. The
Pokal is wild. The Pokal is one, definitely, if you're like, it's one team league. The last few years, the Pokal has not been a one-team league. Right. It's been all over the map. It's been all over the map.
Second division.
So, and it's constantly all over the map. There's something special about it. It's really entertaining to watch. and like these bigger teams that have to then travel, just like in the FA Cup, they have to travel to these smaller, weirder stadiums. I hate to say weirder, but different stadiums that they're accustomed to. You know what I mean? They go from playing, walking out from the private dressing room or whatever, versus walking across the track to, out of a parking lot. It's like a little bit different.
There's all those Olympic stadiums in Germany right there.
And so it's a lot different. And it adds an element to the game, and it adds a mental strain to the players as well, playing midweek in some of these environments. So it should be interesting.
It's not easy to jump from a Saturday and play a Wednesday game.
Nope.
I mean, I see it all the time in college soccer, but you see it all the time in the pro game.
Yep.
Yeah.
So those will be fun games to turn into. And honestly, I'm going to watch that Stuttgart Kickers versus Frankfurt just purely because of the environment.
The atmosphere.
Yeah, because it's. I mean, Frankfurt by all accounts should pound them, but who knows? I mean, weirder things happen in these games.
Very true.
Especially if you're the smaller home team and you're the larger visiting team.
Yep.
Strange.
Well, great job on the Bundesliga chat time, Nate. Lots to look forward to. The Pokal's coming up this week. We'll have a wrap-up of that next week. Speaking of smaller clubs, weirder stadiums, and atmospheres, Detroit City FC make the playoffs. First game next week. They're at Memphis 901.
Isn't it a coincidence they have to go play Ben Pierman?
Against their old coach.
I know, right?
Against their old coach.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, that is...
Things aren't rigged.
That's not rigged. No, I mean, they did. So Detroit City FC last night played at home in Keyworth, losing 1-0 to Miami FC. I was not there, unfortunately. I was out of town with my son for an event for him. I missed the game, unfortunately. But I've heard wasn't the most exciting game. Miami kind of took it to Detroit City. Not a good way to end the season. And then heading into the playoffs, Detroit City on a bit of a slide here, not playing so well. Heading to Memphis next week, Saturday the 22nd. I believe it's an 8 p.m. kickoff. Boys, it's going to be tough. It's a hell of an accomplishment for Detroit City to have gotten into the playoffs. Remember, first season in the championship, USL Championship. First season, great accomplishment for them to get to the playoffs. And now they go play against their old coach, Caesar. They play against Ben Pierman. Brooks.
I got a top 5 on why they're going to win the whole thing.
Ooh, all right, let's jump. Go on.
No, go to Brooks
top
first.
5.
Go to Brooks first, and then we can go to my top 5 on why DCFC will win the whole tournament.
Interesting.
Did you say win the whole thing?
I did not fucking stutter.
Whoa.
Win the whole tournament.
All right, that game against Ben Pierman, who in my opinion is, I don't want to say a soccer savant, but he turns programs around. He does very well. Very smart guy. Young as well.
He's been tossed around on social media. There's a couple of young American under 40 coaches, and he's been tossed around with a few other ones.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah.
He definitely helped out at Michigan State, Damon Rensing there. He's
Yeah.
a good player. I think he's a better coach and manager than he was a player. I think he's proving with the level he's gotten to now. Did a good job at DCFC.
Yeah.
Made the jump to USL Championship with Memphis 901. Gotten them into the playoffs, done very well there.
Yeah.
How do you think that game's going to go next week?
I think Ben wins that one at home for Memphis. Yeah, I think it's just. Positive thing we can look at here is that stadium is not just a mixed-use stadium anymore. There is no more minor league baseball teams, so it was soccer specific in general. In Detroit City, I was to say if it was still being used for baseball and such, I would think maybe it would be somewhat of not an advantage for DCFC, but more of comfort, just because Keyworth is not a full-sized field. The dimensions are a little small.
Yep.
It's tight, but I just think I watched when Memphis 901 came into DCFC. It was a very good game, but Ben's got him and with momentum playing.
Yep.
They've added some guys, and we have some Michigan guys on that Memphis 901 team. Dylan Borzak, who played at Oakland University. Zach Carroll is a Michigan State guy. You got actually Damon's brother is actually the assistant for Damon Rensing's brother is actually the assistant under Ben Pierman.
Is he really? I didn't know that.
Yes.
I did not know
yeah,
that. Very
after
cool. Very cool. Good
year
times
in
there.
Northwestern
Very cool.
as assistant. But anyways, for me, I I just believe it was a great run this year for DCFC, but I think with the caliber player that Ben has, they have a little more goal scorers. They have depth.
Don't forget there's some injuries on DCFC right now. Steve
Exactly.
Still coming back from a hamstring.
You need depth to win in the playoffs, and I don't think they have enough depth, DCFC.
I don't think DCFC have the depth as well. All right, Nate, give us that top 5.
Yeah, you're all wrong. And Pyramid's shit. I said it here first.
Oh, Jesus.
Sure, he's a nice guy. But when it comes to sports, I'm competitive. And he sucks. DCFC. Anyways, here's why. Top 5 reasons DCFC is going to win. Out. But first for Memphis. How's their away record versus their home record?
That's a great question. I'm
It's
sure
much better. So actually, they take advantage playing away.
Memphis are better on the road than they are at home.
DCFC are better on the road
yes,
than
DCFC.
they're home.
Yeah, DCFC went on a hell of a run this past year where they just didn't win a game at home at all.
So
they won a lot of games.
I think actually them not having a home game actually works in their benefit.
You say they play better when the Northern Guard are not in front of them. That's interesting.
Well, I don't know.
Interesting.
But we can talk about
we can debate that all day long.
Wow, that's a I didn't say that, but hey. Screw it. Who cares? And I think so.
Words in mouth. Let's go. Onwards.
Oh no! What's gonna happen? Mustache number 4.
Michael Bryant.
Mustache number 4.
Mustache always.
And
wins.
that's my daughter's favorite player.
Okay.
And he has the heart of the city beating, pumping through his veins.
Interesting.
That back line that he will lead with Lewis are gonna smoke and murder Memphis 901. They're not getting by him. They will dominate that. They will. Yes. Defense wins games. Screw you in your good scoring, Craig Hurd. Scoring is fun. Defenders that kick ankles, and he kicks ankles, and he's got a mustache. Number 4 is my mustache reason of the week. Number 3, the man, the legend, Richard Foster.
See, I don't agree that he should be starting over Rise Williams.
I never said
I'm just saying.
Start. Where did you come up with?
I've seen how they start. I've seen their lineups. Why is he starting over Rise Williams?
Because these games are meaningless. Okay, so
he might. Thank
you. All right, so Richard.
I agree. Rise should be starting.
Thank you very much.
I agree.
Right.
He's gonna come in. He's the X factor. He comes in, lays wood, kicks people, drives people nuts. Closes out games.
He's an agitator.
Boom.
He's an
agitator.
He's
a veteran.
And that's what you need. You need some agitators to come on and make ruckus. Number 3. Hoppenot.
Anton
Hoppenot. Who happens to be the what?
I believe it's pronounced Hopeno, but
Shut it. Okay. Don't correct me. I'm on a roll.
He's very smart. He went to Princeton.
Fantastic. He just won the assist leader.
Most assists in USL Champions.
Boom!
Well done.
He is another X factor. I'm sorry. How many Memphis N1s were the assist leaders this year? Let me answer that. 0! Because they're on DCFC. Thank you very much, Case Close. Number 2!
No, number 1.
Number 1?
That was number 2. Yeah.
Number 2. Okay, number 1. I can't count. Number 1. It's going to be a tie and a draw for 2 people who lead this team. You have a fantastic coach who does very well, and he will put it together. And you have the best Nate in the business sitting between the pipes.
Sam Washer.
It's all coming home. It's coming home, even though it was never here at home. It's similar to the English thing. Just go with it. It's coming home, something like that. They're winning. They're beating Memphis. They're beating this drum all the way to lifting the trophy, baby. That's what it is. To hell with all those other teams. I'm sure there's nice people there. Just kidding. Pyramid, when I was, he's probably a great guy.
You guys heard it
but
here
to hell,
first.
yes, to hell with all of them. The hell with all of them. This is DCFC time. Time to shine. 1 year champions. Champions.
They're bringing it home.
Woo! Give me Ric Flair, baby, to give me that halftime speech like he does for Michigan. Woo!
So then they're going to beat Louisville the next round, huh?
They're going to dump truck Louisville. Who's Louisville?
Interesting. Okay.
Purple. Purple's their team color.
I just want to make everybody aware that
purple.
That
no respectable man wears purple.
What Nate has in his cup there is not alcohol. I believe it's some sort of
coffee.
tonic water or coffee.
I think the Black Rifle kicked in like right.
Plug for Black Rifle.
Sorry, guys, I blacked out there for a minute. What did I say?
Yeah, exactly. You predicted USL Championship is going down to Detroit City.
Oh, yeah, that's happening.
I love it. I love it. Hot take right there. I love
yeah.
it. All right, we're about ready to wrap up. But last thing I wanted to get to today, I gotta read this. It's somewhere in here that where did it go? All right, whatever. Washington D.C. has declared that during the World Cup, bars are going to be open 24/7. They're not allowed to serve alcohol from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m., but the other 22 hours a day, they're allowed to serve alcohol, and they're allowed to be open for 24 hours a day for the World Cup. That's awesome, because in Qatar, you actually can only drink alcohol for like.
Are they going to
this
do?
much
Are they
time.
going to do these trick? If I were them, I would do it. Where serve, you have your last call and you load up who's ever there, and because then it's done, and then you're not serving anymore. Then they're finishing their drinks if they're allowed to be open.
I think they'll probably do that from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m.
Hell yeah.
The other 22 hours, they're allowed to serve.
That's what I'm saying. So 4 a.m. at 3:59 and 50 seconds, that's when you put that 3 hour beer order in, and then you start that baby back up. We going to New York for an all-nighter?
You can go to New York. This is in Washington, D.C.
We're going to Washington, D.C.
We are going to Washington, D.C. We should go watch the entire World Cup
Let's do it.
in Washington, D.C. because alcohol is allowed to be served 22 hours a day.
Hold on.
24?
Hold on.
22 out of the 24.
Oh, sorry,
Did I get
22
that right?
anymore.
Yeah.
Is $30 for a pint, according to Kurt?
$3 for a pint.
30.
30.
30.
Is that what the
$30
article
for a
says?
pint. Yeah, but alcohol is allowed to be served for 22 hours of the day. I mean, the bars are allowed to be open for 24 hours. It's worth it.
Or
Where your wives let you leave?
there's this great bar called Nate's House. And at Nate's House, he has a 72-inch TV, nice leather recliner, scarf wall, pies.
You heard it here.
Myself.
You heard
I
it here
like
first. You
your-
guys can go to Nate's house and
yeah.
drink all the beer.
The
And
food,
he
yes,
claps.
he makes good food.
I do make good
He
food.
does make
yeah.
good food.
For a
You
guy
kinda
with a
have-
limited diet, I just I'm basically Red Skull in an Infinity War, where they're like, I seek the power that I cannot possess. I make the food that I cannot eat. Hey, how's it taste? I don't know. Everyone else liked it. You didn't taste it. I can't.
I can't eat it.
Prepping, you know.
All right, guys. You heard it here first. We'll all go to Nate's for the World Cup. We'll do that.
Yeah. Sorry, Michelle.
All right. Again, thanks for joining us this week, everybody online. Do us a huge, huge favor. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a share. And if you're listening on the podcast, on Apple Podcast or on Google Podcast, wherever you listen to us, give us 5 stars. Leave a nice comment. We would very much appreciate it. All right. From me and the boys at the kids' table, we bid you a farewell, and we will be back next Sunday to continue this awesome soccer talk. All right.